Chapter 30, dignitas. So in this chapter we saw how to form the perfect passive and the pluperfect passive. You took the perfect participle, and to that you add a helping verb, either the present assume in the perfect or the imperfect assume, that is eram in the perfect. Right. So in our translation, I've underlined all the verbs, of course. The subjunctives I put in green as usual, and then the passives and a few other things worth looking at I've highlighted in yellow. All right, so let's look at that first paragraph. So, quis Romani postquam arcus ab imperator dedicatus est, quator dies festus celebraverent, templo visitabant ut dies gratias agerent, circa maximum quotidie complebant, ut ludos magnificos a consulibus editos spectarent, ad arcum ipsum conveniebant ut vigorous in eo sculptas and speakerent. Plurimi clientes domum savii venihibant, qui gratulationes e facerent, savius ipse sumo gaudium affectus est, quod imperator arcum haeterii valde laudaverat. So, the first sentence, we have this little subordinate clause, ignore that for the moment. So we have quis Romani, quator dies festus celebraverent. So the Roman citizens celebrated 4 festival days, right? 4 does not decline, doesn't take endings. So 4 festival days. Okay, when? After, okay, the arch dedicatus est. It's our first perfect passive here, so was dedicated. Remember in the passive voice, the subject, that is here arcus, is going to receive the action to which was being dedicated. The arch was dedicated, and ab imperatore, of course, is the ablative of agent. So the Roman citizens, after the arch was dedicated by the emperor, celebrated 4 festival days. Templo visitabant. So the temples were visiting? That doesn't sound right. This must be the accusative. Right? Uniplural, antoné, could be noun or accusative. Logically must be accusative here. So they were visiting temples. I wonder why. Ut dies gratias agerent. So purpose clause here, right? In order to agerent gratias, in order to do thanks, to thank. Dative, dies, the gods. Remember that E frequently drops out, the plural, as I've mentioned before. So they were visiting temples to thank the gods, purpose clause. Circa maximum quotidia complebant, they were filling the Circus Maximus quotidia every day. Remember, that's a huge racetrack. They're filling it every day. Ut ludos magnificos a consulibus editos spectarent. So this is why they're filling the Circus Maximus. To spectarent, to watch the magnificent games, editos, given, put on by the consuls. Another purpose clause, why they are filling the Circus Maximus, to watch the games. Ad arcum ipsum conveniebant, so they were coming together to the arch itself in order to, in speaker, look at the figures sculpted in eos. Here we have something coming between 2 words again, right? Figuras and sculptas goes together. In ao, closely associated with it, and then I'll actually put it right between the 2 words. We've seen this with prepositions, we've seen it with genitives, now a prepositional phrase. So, why were they coming together? In order to look at the figures sculpted in ao, on it. Purpose clause, yet again. Plurimi clientes, so many clients. Domum Salvii veniebat, so they were coming to the house of Salvius. Right? Domum is a word that doesn't need a preposition because it takes the locative. If we haven't talked about that yet, we will soon. So they were coming to the house of Salvius, qui gratulationes e facerent. So we have one of those relative purpose clauses. Subjunctive verb, it's a relative clause. And for you right now, your options are limited to be a relative purpose clause. Right? So it's a relative clause describing the client and also explains why they were coming to the house. So it's a relative clause and it's a purpose clause. It's a relative purpose clause. So who who were making were like making congratulations, so giving congratulations to him, the dative, right? So that's why they came to the house. So it could say they were coming to the house of Salvius to congratulate him. Salvius himself, sumo gaudio affectus est. So he affectus est, perfect passive, was overcome by the greatest joy, which is means, right? Ablative means. Right? So it's passive verb, the subject is receiving the action, and the ablative here, ablative means, is doing the action, right? If it's done by a living thing, it's an ablative agent with our ab. By a thing, by a non-living thing, so an inanimate thing, it's the ablative means and no a or ab. Okay. So he was overcome by the greatest joy because the emperor, well, Dawarad, of course, is what tense? Perfect, right? Had praised the art of Haterius Walde very much. Apud Haterium, so with Haterius at Haterius's place, however, nullae gratulantium voces auditae sunt. Okay, so no voices, which is interrupted by the associated word gratulantium. And this, of course, is a present active participle, genitive plural, right? NT plus a third declension genitive plural ending, IUM here. So no voices of those congratulating, or we can just say congratulators, that is a word, were heard. So no voices were heard. No voices of congratulators were heard. Perfect passive. Notice in these perfect passive verbs, the participle, of course, is going to agree with the subject, nullae voces. So it's feminine plural. Neque clientes, neque amici abeo admissi sunt. So admissi sunt, were admitted. I need a plural subject. Can't be all feminine with an and an I, so it's got to be all masculine or a mix. Neither clients nor friends were admitted by him. Ablative agent here, right? The action's done by a person. So were admitted by him. Haterius, right? Disturbed or moved, era by rage, another means. Alone was remaining at home, the locative case here. Domus takes the locative. So alone, he was remaining at home, or was remaining at home alone. Sawiyeba audio. So he was so angry. How angry was he? You need a result clause, right? That he non posset was not able dormire to sleep. He was so angry. Audio is my clue that a result clause, a subjunctive result clause is coming up, right? That's our clue that's coming. There are some result clauses that don't use words like this. We'll see those later. So he was so angry that he was not able to sleep. Okay. Quator dias noctesque vigilabat. So he was staying awake. Like monks get up to say their vigils during the night, or hours of the day, their vigils of the night. So he was staying awake for 4 days and nights. That's a long time to stay awake. Sometimes people stay awake that long. They actually didn't. They fell asleep and forgot about it. But yeah, maybe he was awake for 4 days. I was pretty tired. Quinto die. So the apple of a time when, right? Just like quattuor dies here. Dies and nights. Dies noctesque was accusative of extent of time, right? Quinto die, apple of a time when. So on the fifth day, the wife, Vitellia, nominate by name, apple of respect, right? Falls under that how category. So Vitellia by name, relative clause, quae nescieba quae haterius adeo eratus esset. So quae, the relative pronoun, this is describing the wife, Vitellia, who did not know why Haterius was so angry. So who didn't know why Haterius Was adio aratu so angry? So what use of the subjunctive is that? If you jumped on audio and said results, you're wrong this time. This is actually indirect question, right? The question word being quare. That's introducing the subjunctive clause. So she didn't know why Hetarius was so angry. It's an indirect question. That's why it's subjunctive here. Esse, of course, the imperfect subjunctive of to be, right? Because esse is a present infinitive. So Vitellia, who didn't know all that, eum molire temptava. She was trying to molire, to soothe, to soften eum, him. Ingressa, of course, what kind of participle? Perfect active, right? From a deponent verb. And simply stated, there's a verbs that will look like they're passive but have active meanings. So all these passive forms we've been seeing are actually going to be active forms when we see deponent verbs soon. So this is a perfect active participle. Having entered, the direct object is a clue. Having entered the garden, where Hetarius was walking here and there, back and forth, to here to there. Anxia, anxious or anxiously, she asked him questions. What did she ask him? So, cortanta ira afficuris mi heteri. So, here, right? So, afficere is a third conjugation, right? So, you're probably would be expecting an IRIS here. We've talked about this before. So, if it was third person, it'll be ITUR. But there's an E here. So this is the one little peculiarity you got to watch out for. Third conjugation, second person singular, present tense, passive. There's an E there where you're probably expecting an I. So why are you overcome? Are you affected by the abla means, by such anger, by so much anger, such anger, so much anger is better. My heterius, vocative, of course. Right? Heter eus, ius goes to I. Et amicos et clientes qui venerant ut te salutaret domo abagisti. So you drove away, that's our verb. Who did you drive away? The accusative. Et amicos et clientes. Where et is both and. So you drove away both friends and clients. Okay, you drove them away domo from the house. Apple of the separation. Clients and friends who came in order to greet you. Purpose clause, right? Imperfect subjunctive. Explains why they came. To greet him. To greet you. Neque unum verba mihi host quator dies dicis. And you say, or in English you probably say, you have said, not one word to me these 4 days, accusative of extended time, right? Sine dubio, without a doubt. Dubio, ablative, because sine is, of course, a sit space. Without a doubt. Ut istem arcum conficures nimis labravisti. So labravisti nimis, you worked too much. Ut istem arcum conficures, in order to finish that arch. She uses istem here, more of a negative connotation. She's upset because he's acting weird, right? So that arch that caused all this. So without a doubt, you worked too much or too hard, we'll probably say, in order to finish that arch. Purpose clause, right? Why he worked, nimis. Negligence, negligent, or careless of your health. Valetudinous tuae. Careless of your health. So negligence here would take a genitive. You're negligent of something. None, surely it is better, or would be better, we'd probably say in English, for you, tibi. Ad vilum rusticam mecum abire. So abire, to go away, ire to go, abire to go away, mecum, remember that's the same as cum may, to the country house. For Ruri, that's another locative, In the country, forgetful of your cares or having forgotten your cares. Right? So verbs are here adjectives, participles, which is an adjective after all, of forgetting or remembering, take the genitive. So in Latin, you forget and you remember in the genitive. You just do. So you're for having forgotten cararum, your cares, takes a genitive. You're able to rest. For in the country, having forgotten your cares, you're able to rest. Materius says, quomodo, how. So how am I able, possum, to quiescere, to rest? I passus, right, from patior, deponent, was a perfect active. The fact that it has a direct object is a clue that's perfect active. I believe I said perfect active. So I, having suffered, having experienced such a great injury or injustice, how am I able to rest? Verba to a non-intelligo. I do not understand your words, right? Neuter plural, that's why it's a. Who intulit injuriam to me. So who brought injury upon you? Who injured you? Intulit, brought upon, right? From Pharaoh, Pharaoh, Tuli Latus, right? So in Pharaoh goes to intuli. So who brought injury upon you? Who injured you? Ego asavio qui mihi fave soleba omnino deceptus sum. So I deceptus sum. That's our verb, right? Perfect passive. I was deceived. I was omnino deceived. I was completely deceived by Salvius, the ablative agent. Relative clause describing Salvius, who was accustomed to favoring me. Right, so the guy who usually favors me, I was completely deceived by him. Peronibus meus laboribus, right, easy prepositional phrase, for all my labors, a huge reward, mihi asauio promissum est. So promissum est was promised. Right. Obviously, with these perfect passives, you got to watch out. Don't just go to the est and think you've got the verb. Actually, you see a form of essay, remember there can be something else with it. So Prometheus was promised. So a huge reward was promised to me by Salvius, the ablative agent. Tamen, however, nullum premium ne gratias quidam accepi. So, however, I have received no reward ne gratias quidam. Here's another example of putting word in the middle. Ne quidam, not even. Gratias, thanks. Not thanks, even, perhaps. Esto, I highlighted. That's another one of those third person future imperatives. So, be or may you be content or satisfied, Mahetarius. S, you are a very well known contractor, right? Superlative, redemptor, third declension nominative. Cuius, for the relative pronoun, this is the genitive singular, no matter what the gender. Cuius, right? Masculine, feminine, neuter. So, whose arch? By the emperor himself recently was praised. So whose, W-H-O-S-E, whose arch, by the emperor himself, ipso, recently was praised. Multa edificia publica exteristi, so you built many public buildings, right? Neuter plurals. Unde, from which, magnas divitias comparavisti, you obtained great riches. Not good enough for Atarius. Divitias flocci non facio. Right, so I don't give a hoot about riches. We saw that before. In hoc urbe, in this city, are many contractors who have obtained the greatest wealth. Maxima superlative, a irregular superlative, right? Mihi autem non divitiae seg dignitas est curae. Okay, so autem, but, okay, not riches, but dignity, um, honors, sense of importance, is of a care to me. I believe this is a genitive of value. Um, no, actually, no, I take that back. No, this is a day of a purpose. It's a double dative here of Korai and Mihi. I forget what I said. All right, so is a care to me, is for the purpose of a care to me. Just as a care to me is fine enough. So it's a date of a purpose here. Right? So, but not riches, but dignity is a care to me. Right? Double dative constructions we'll talk about later. Very frequently you'll see it with auxilio, the ablative of auxilium. Something is a help to someone. So something is the first dative to the second dative is a care to me. Okay, dignitas tuus amplissima rather est. So your dignity is very great, very ample. Nam non modo ditissimus est. So not only are you very rich, said etiam uxorum nobilissim agenti natam habes, but you have a wife born from the most noble family. So here we have two words interrupted again by something closely related to it. So, but also uxorum natam, a wife born from the most noble family. Rafila, my sister, is the wife of Salvius, which means she's also related to the Quintus then, right? Who tibi semper favor, who always favors you, and often has recommended you to the emperor. So has recommended the accusative te to the dative. Quid aliud ad Savio Kipre pupus. So what aliud, what else do you desire to receive from Salvius? Volo ad sumas honores pervenire. So I want to pervenire, to arrive, to reach the greatest honors. Just like those Satiriuses who ab hinc multos annos consules factisant. So who factisant were made consuls many years ab hinc ago, right before this. So who ago many years consuls were made. So who were made consuls many years ago. So that's going to play out. Resurrectum, especially, or in particular, sacerdos esse cupio, a desire to be a priest. Remember, being a priest in Rome for the traditional cults, very much like a political office. So it's not a lifelong devotion like the Catholic priesthood or other religions you may be familiar with. It's like a political office. So I want to be a priest. Multi anum viri. So for many men, sacerdotes imperatore creati having been made priests by the emperor. So many men modified by creati, many men having been made what? The other accusative, priests by the emperor. Afterwards, arrived at, reached the consulship, right? The two chief magistrates in Rome. They still have them in the empire, but the emperor, of course, has the real power. Said Salvius, still a very prestigious position to have, though. So, but Salvius, quamquam sacerdotia mihi identitam promissit. So, although he promised the accusative to the dative, although he promised a priesthood to me, identitam repeatedly, fidem non servavit. He has not preserved, kept his loyalty, his faith. Probably in English would say here he hasn't kept his word, right? Noli disperare, so don't despair. right? Negative command, the imperative of nolo, plus infinitive, mahiterius. It is better, or again, would be better to be for you, to go, ire, to salvius. Blendusque verbis aveo hunc honorum repetere. To go to salvius, que, and. Right? So to go, and another infinitive, repetere, seek again. Seek again, hunc honorum, this honor, the accusative. Abeo, from him. Blindis verbis, with flattering words. Ableva means. So how should he seek this honor from him? By what means? With flattering words. Well, if we think of words as things, otherwise it's ableva matter, but it comes out the same. It falls into that hal category. Mihi qui redemptor optimisum, so non decorum est honoris ita quaere. So come back to the relative clause. So it is not decorum, it is not fitting, not proper for me, the dative, to quaere, to seek, honors ita thus. Me who am the best contractor. So for me, who am sounds weird, the best contractor, it's not fitting to seek honors thus to seek. Concilium optimum habeo, I have the best plan. Okay, in vita should have been underlined. So hard to see. There we go. So in vita here, as is ostenta coming up, these are imperatives, right? Singular imperatives. So invite Salvius to your area, and this means his construction site. So it could refer to different places, but what they're referring to here is his construction site. So show the accusative to the dative, show your crane A to him. Remember the dative singular of the essay id chart? Nihil maius nec mirabilius unquam antia factum est. So nothing bigger nor more remarkable, right? These are comparatives, right? IUS. So they are comparative adjectives and they're neuter. That's why it's IUS. An understood neuter with nothing, right? Nothing, no neuter thing, no thing. That's going to be neuter. Nothing bigger nor more remarkable ever, right? Nunquam never, unquam ever before was made. It all falls together. Then, Salium admiratione affectum roga de sacerdotio. So one more imperative. So then ask, okay, ask the accusative, Salium affectum, Salvius overcome by the ableva means, by admiration, by wonder. So then ask Salvius overcome by wonder about the priesthood. So ask him about the priesthood then. He's really impressed by your crane. That's a stupid plan. Oh well. We'll see how it goes. Until next time.